This Halloween, I wanted to recreate one of my favorite costumes of all time, and that is the Surrealist Mona Lisa top hat costume from the 1972 Rothschild Surrealist Ball. In 1972, Marie-Helene de Rothschild, or Marie-Helene Rothschild, hosted an extravagant ball at Château de Ferrières, or the Ferrières Castle. The ball had a surrealist theme, and its exclusive guest list was filled with the names of society's most prominent figures, including the iconic surrealist artist Salvador Dali. All the guests attended the ball in extravagant and unique surrealist costumes. The costume I'll be recreating was worn by Alexis de Rudé, or Alexis von Rosenberg-Rudé. The costume features a top hat that is covered with 3 drawers, golden insects, and antique portraits, as well as mysterious masks below the top hat that bear the portrait of the Mona Lisa. This costume is believed to have been commissioned by Salvador Dali himself. Ever since I saw photos of the Rothschild Surrealist Ball, I have been intrigued by the intricacy and uniqueness of this costume. In this video, I'll show you how I went about recreating this mysterious costume. First, I'll take you through the Mona Lisa masks. For the Mona Lisa masks, I needed 4 basic party masks. I found these basic party masks at Five Below for just $1. I used a 5th mask as excess material to make covers for the eye openings of all the masks. To make the faces of the masks, I used acrylic craft paint to paint them. I worked with the primary colors of red, yellow, and blue, as well as white and black. Each bottle of acrylic paint cost me 88 cents. I started with a base color of antique yellow that I painted on each of the masks. Then I went in with an olive brown color to paint the shaded parts of the face. I had to work with many layers of paint on the masks in order to get my desired opacity, color, and shape to match the masks as closely as the original costume. The design I used for the faces was a combination between the original Mona Lisa painting and how the masks are painted in the original costume. After painting the masks, I needed to recreate the black and gold trim on each of the masks. I started with a black velvet ribbon as the base. I found this ribbon at Joann's for $3.99. I measured the edge of the mask and cut the amount I needed with a little excess for error. I then hot glued the ribbon around the edge of the mask. For the gold ridges, I used a thin gold cord that I found at Joann's for $3.99. To get the trim to match the gold from the original costume, I used gold acrylic paint to paint the pieces of trim that I needed. Once the paint dried, the cord was a perfect antique gold color. I then hot glued the pieces of gold cord onto the black velvet ribbon. To finish off the masks, I trimmed about 1 1/4 inches off the top of each mask to match the original costume. Now we'll look at how I made the top hat with drawers. For the top hat, I used an extra tall top hat that I found on Amazon for $20. For the drawers, I used foam board that I found at the dollar store. I started by tracing the curve of the top hat and making an outline for the drawer. After cutting this out and seeing what worked, I used the bottom piece to make the template for the other 2 drawers. Before and after painting the pieces, I sanded them down to give them a cleaner finish. I used hot glue to piece the drawers together. Using an off-white color called antique parchment, I painted the tops of the drawers and used black to paint the undersides. For the drawer handles, I used excess foam board to make 3 tiny circular pieces. I wrapped these pieces in foil and hot glued them to the drawers. I used the gold cord from the masks to make gold trim for each of the drawers. For the gold insects, I used a package of tiny insect toys that I found on Amazon for $7. I painted the insects with gold acrylic paint to match the original costume. For the portraits, I printed out some antique portraits and cut them into an oval. I hot glued pieces of a thin gold cord to the edge as a frame. Now we'll look at how I pieced the masks and top hat together. I then hot glued all of these pieces to the top hat. The brim of my top hat wouldn't fit all 4 masks, so I decided to glue one to the front and one to the back. I glued the other 2 masks to a piece of black elastic to make a headpiece that I would wear under the top hat. Now let's look at the finished costume. If you would like to see how I made my Amazing Dates costume, you can find that video here. I hope you enjoyed this DIY costume and thanks for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing so that this channel might eventually achieve partner status.